Hi, I'm Cathy Madeo with Honor Yoga. Today I'm going to teach you how to kick up into handstand using the wall. I really hope you took a moment to check out my how-to video on L pose because I talk about the foundations of the alignment in the arms and the rib cage as well. It will just help you get used to using the wall and learning how to stack the hips over the shoulders and strengthen those shoulders and arms for handstand. So if you've already had some experience with L pose, you're ready to start your kick up into handstand, let's get started. We're going to use the wall today. And I just want to point out right off the bat that when you kick up into a handstand and you use the wall, you've basically fallen out of your handstand. So that's kind of the pitfall of the wall. And it's great to, once you have confidence, to start working away from the wall as soon as possible. But initially, just know when you use the wall, you're falling out of handstand. So I say that to say don't be too far away from the wall, because the farther you are away from the wall, the farther you're falling out of handstand, and the more you're coming into a back bend. And so the more kind of work you have to do to get yourself in alignment upside down. And that's really hard. From downward facing dog, that's where we'll start. Make sure your hands are about 1.5 to 2 hands distance away from the wall. Have the hands shoulders distance apart, just like you were preparing for downward facing dog. So in my other video, I talked about the difference in handstand from downward facing dog is you actually want to shrug the shoulders up to the ears as you start working into your handstand. So rather than depressing the shoulders or wrapping the shoulders back and around, I want you to focus on shrugging the shoulders up to the ears. It'll feel like you're pushing the floor away from you. And also draw the front ribs down. From here, step just 1 foot in. One foot's going to feel more natural than the other. And if you haven't figured that out, you'll just test both and see which one feels right. Now, don't step it in too far. You'll get stuck here. So just about, about a foot in. The next step is to shift the shoulders over the wrists, because that's the stack in handstand. Goes shoulders over wrists, hips over shoulders, heels over hips. From this shoulder stacked over wrist position is where we're going to kick from. And this bent leg that you've stepped in, you could think of that as your spring leg. And the other leg is your kick leg. You want the kick leg to be straight, like as straight as you can think. If you start bending the leg, that's when you see this kind of flopping around action you may have seen, or that might even feel like you. I definitely know it was me when I first started. So make sure that back leg is nice and straight. So you're stepping 1 foot in, shift the shoulders over, and you'll spring with the right leg or whichever leg you've stepped in and kick with the other leg. And I don't even want you to worry too much about hitting the wall. In fact, I don't want you to worry at all about hitting the wall. You're just practicing these easy kicks. And step back to down dog, and we're going to do that in a bit of a drill. So step 1 foot in, shift the shoulders, kick. Step back, downward facing dog. Step 1 foot in, shift the shoulders, and kick. Downward facing dog. One more. 1 foot in, shift the shoulders, and kick. Downward facing dog. Let's switch sides. So even if it feels awkward, want to make sure you're always doing the opposite side in your yoga practice to balance out your body. Again, notice my hips are not stacking over my shoulders yet, which is why I'm not getting to the wall. But that's perfect. Okay, so we're going to add on now. So we got the first stack, shoulders over wrists, and we started to play with the fundamentals of kicking. The next step is to get those hips to stack over the shoulders. My biggest tip that I can give you is to resist the straight leg from coming up, and I'll show you it in a second. So a lot of people just kind of kick both legs up, and then they, boom, hit the wall. Of course, they've fallen out of their handstand. That happens a lot in the center of their room. The more you can resist that second leg coming up, you'll actually start to find the hip stack. The hip stack is essential for balancing an inversion. So those hips have to stack over the shoulders, or you'll just fall out, either forward or back. So let's add on. Downward facing dog. Step 1 foot in, shift the shoulders, and kick. And here's where you'll resist the bottom leg from coming up. Again. Notice I'm not even hitting the wall, so I'm finding that alignment in the hips. And I'm not worried about getting into my handstand yet, because if I can start working here into this more of an L shape and find this hip stack, then I'll have a better opportunity or chance of not falling. So we're going to switch sides, even if it feels weird. kick. Notice I'm also, after I spring my bent leg up, I straighten it. So I'm finding a kind of L shape in my body. The wall is just really there at this point for security because I'm not using it, and hopefully you'll find that too. So we're going to add on, and we will actually work on finding a little bit more momentum to hit the wall, because when we can use the wall in the beginning of our handstand practice, you can find the alignment of the actual shape of handstand so that when you kick up, you can hold it more. And it'll also build some stamina. Adding on, step 1 foot in and kick. And you're trying to find that wall nice and soft. Now here's where you can bend one leg so that the other leg's getting nice in alignment, and I'm moving it away from the wall. Shrug the shoulders up to the ears and nip the front ribs down so it pulls in towards the pubic bone. Really kind of strengthening everything, hugging everything on the outside in. And I'm going to switch positions with my legs. So I'm kind of finding that vertical line, just using the wall there for support. And from here, if I reach the straight leg up more, maybe start to balance away from the wall. And then wall's there to catch you. You can take a child's pose. This video is really intended just to start getting you used to kicking. And again, I want to express fundamentals. Start from downward facing dog. Don't be too far away from the wall. Step 1 foot in and shift those shoulders over the wrists, and just get used to that to start. And then start getting used to just an easy kick up. Don't even worry about coming into your handstand. From there, you're going to start practicing stacking the hips over the shoulders, coming up into an L shape with the legs. And then from there, maybe finding the wall and play with balancing away from the wall. I hope these tips helped you, and I can't wait to give you some more tips as you advance in your handstand practice. Namaste.